So, hi everyone. Oh, we've got 13 minutes. Right, okay, that makes sense because I filmed one that was really long. So, I'm going to get straight into this. Welcome if you're new. My name's Claire, not Crystal. Right, I'm just going to get straight into it. Healing is weaved in everything I do. So, if you're open to it, receive the healing and yeah, I'm just going to be totally transparent here. Again, I don't need to tell you everything, as that's interesting as hidden knowledge is behind that one. But like I've explained before, May is not a good month. May has not been a good month for me for many, many years now. And I usually do take quite a bit of downtime in May. And I was kind of, I'll try and get this out really quickly. I was hesitating over, I've got a session with one of you guys, actually, a Zoom session tomorrow, whereas as far as I'm aware, I'm going to be fine for it. But again, if you're watching this, I'll keep you updated. But, I'm pretty sure I will be good for that. But today, I feel very sensitive. Yeah. So, and again, it's like there's loads of reasons for that. But an astrological one that could, well, first of all, we've just come out of a Scorpio full moon eclipse, right? Say no more. Scorpio's brutal truth, brutal pain, and depending on where that is in your chart, it's going to be a fucker, like I kept saying. On the actual day of the eclipse, just to give you a wee rundown for whoever, because I feel there are people out there that are really struggling. I can feel it. And also, by the way, again, for people that don't know that right now, if you're new, and hello, there's loads of new people. I'm honoured and humbled that you decided to subscribe. That's actually quite a lot of people in a short space of time for me, along with some of the videos that are like at 300 views, which is mental for me. Again, we always usually get about 37 views to be exact. The numbers speak around here because I activate the energy, the dormant energy in people through the numbers primarily anyway. So, as we get to run to 222, but yeah, basically, yeah, what I'm saying is I was guided for the past week to just refrain from responding to comments because it does. I can feel because of my Pluto retrograde in Scorpio where it is in the 12th. Like I feel everybody's everything very deeply, even when I don't interact with people. But when I interact with people, I can really feel people's pain, and it's interesting because even though I'm not responding, I can feel it. And then obviously, just because of habit, it's like I go to look. So just know that if I have been guided to look at the comments, that some of you won't even see because if it's caught in the filter, I am sending love and prayers to those of you that are finding this energy a little tough. Because basically what I'm trying to say is it's funny, there was a hair in the cup, but it's like they wanted me to pull me a certain darkness is needed to see the stars. It's like I actually felt really empowered and really strong. And you'll see me saying that if I put out, I think that was in the video that I'm kind of swaying on whether to put out or not. And it was just, I got a bit upset in it, that isn't the big deal really. I just haven't watched it back and it was very long and I'll just see, you know me, it's you know me, I'll probably put out anyway. Or I'll put out some point rather. But maybe not right away. But anyway, I say that and I always do, so I'll just see. But so I'm doing another one for today's the point. So right, what else do you need to say? Because the timer's going. But again, with me feeling the time, the pressure to get, it's like time's running out. So I feel this feeling as someone feeling like time's running out. Time's running out for a new beginning because they pulled my eyes to that. And before I done this, so basically, I'll share more about everything further down the line. But practically, what I'm doing right now is I'm actually feeling. So yeah, I'm going to channel a little bit before I do this. I was feeling very much like kind of sink or swim energy, basically, and that's not surprising, right? Because where that eclipse was hitting in my chart, it basically is bringing a lot of the subconscious where you're holding yourself back to the surface. And although I've moved through a lot of that, like I said, anyone would be lying if they said, I said this in the last video, anyone would be lying, and my throat chakra went funny there. if they try to say that there's nothing in their life holding them back whatsoever, and they don't ever let the subconscious fear hold them back. It's just there'll be people that do it less than others, but there's always someone lurking, and there certainly is with me. And yeah, it was one of them things where I could absolutely be kind to myself and have a day in bed watching funny films like what I've done, and yeah, and it would be like so understandable. Believe me, believe me, if you knew what life has thrown me of late, you would. I'm just laughing because I'm being drawn to certain things in my room that are really speaking at me from the spirit world. But it's like, yeah, you would understand. Just trust me on that one, right? But I'm the kind of person that, see, when I've done that enough, and when I've done the whole pigging out on junk food and ice cream and all that kind of stuff, and it was funny because it was one of my best pals that was like, yeah, I've got to blame her. Again, I'm saying blame in a funny way because I don't believe in blaming guilt, but it was her fault, to be fair. But it was what I needed, right? And it was funny, I got it, and it was like, I thought, I could easily just leave that in the freezer. Like, I'm not that arsed about ice cream, really. But yeah, I demolished it the other night, and I'm no regrets. But basically, what I'm saying is blah, blah, blah. So, do we need the food cards for me saying all of that? Maybe we do, by the way. I wasn't going to use them. There's only a few cutting about here. I think I put them over here. Wait a minute, I'm just, because that was quite interesting. That's what I like about, if people get the way that I work with the divine, they get it. And if you don't, I won't be for you, and they will attune. They won't even be watching now. But, because, again, I could see from my Sag Moon humour, I could see that someone would be like, what the fuck is this person whittering on about? So it's hilarious to me, but it's like that's the hidden secret. If you hang around, you find out that I'm a specialist in this area of twin flames, you know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot of things I'm not good at, trust me, but this is my thing. And basically, basically what I'm saying is I've done that whole picking out thing, and it doesn't really help me. It might help me in the moment when I'm dying on a bit of chocolate, but I'm over it already. And then as well, like, I had a whole weekend in my bed last weekend, and it did help me. I basically went through the death and the rebirth, definitely the death energy of the Scorpio full moon eclipse last weekend. I went through it a week early, which is quite normal for me. I often go through things either a week early, a couple of weeks early, months earlier, sometimes years. Definitely with my dark night of school, I went through it years before anyone around me, so that I could be a teacher of it. But basically, yeah, the point is I could do that today and it'd be understandable, but it was making me feel worse. And then I was like, right, how am I feeling? And that's the thing about, like, what they were talking to me about is, when you give yourself a bit of a break, or when you're on holiday, when you feel a bit lost because you're like, this is not my normal routine. I don't like this. And it's kind of like, and it was all these uncomfortable feelings. So I'm being a total counsellor right now. But, and I was like, okay, just sit with it. And then I was like, oh, fuck. Venus and Mars are both in Cancer now. Like, Venus just went into Cancer. And that's like hashtag all the feels. That's also divine feminine, divine masculine, by the way. And if I don't hurry up, I'm not going to have any fucking time to do divine feminine, divine masculine, because there's not enough timer on this. So again, there's something about time eluding someone is what I just heard. And that does mean flying away, doesn't it? Because I just remember from a quote about, I used to love this quote, that it was something about, happiness is like, or love is like a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it eludes you. But if you just sort of focus on other things and be present, it will come and land softly on your shoulder. And now I know why they got me to get the butterfly stickers that I got for my niece's birthday. Because the whole point, I'm going to quickly actually, because the time is seriously running out now. In fact, wait a minute, that's really not long. Anyway, we'll see what comes out at the time. I said, what would you want for your birthday? I mean, I gave her a choice. I can't remember what I said, flowers, fairies, blah, blah, blah. And she said butterfly stickers, right? And I mean, these cost next to nothing, right? But I've got her other stuff. I've got her a rainbow plant pot and all this kind of stuff. Like, you make it yourself, it's cool, you decorate it. But for me, it was like what I was just being spoken about was, this is really important because she's told me something she really wanted, and I've listened and acknowledged, and I've done something about it. So I feel, when we translate that for here, there's something about your inner child? Like, did people do that around you? And if not, giving yourself the love. I mean, because let's face it, as amazing as anyone's mum and dad are, they will have missed you at some point, or anyone around you, whatever your caregivers were. But that was just what they were talking to me about. Discover the satisfaction factor. Take your time. Oh, look, there's the thing about time. At your next meal, practice staying present sensations eaten. Begin slowly. Notice how the food smells right. So basically that's about mindfulness, because we've not got time to go into all of that. Oh, that's not even in that deck. I'm willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas and conclusions. Activating the third eye. Right, okay, so basically what I'm getting from this is someone is, because those cards are still sitting there from the one I've done before, someone's seeing clearly. Someone is seeing the truth now where they didn't see before. Oh, so it's the same fucking theme. Right, okay, so again, this is going to be a short one today, but I'll show you the affirmation. Monday the 8th, or it's timeless, so whenever it resonates, it's important to remember that the point of power is always in the present moment. So basically the point of me sharing where I was at is that things can change day to day. I felt great on the full moon, surprisingly, and then the next day I just felt very tired and drained, and that's really quite normal for an eclipse. Whatever normal, it depends where it is in your chart. And I've got squares going on in my chart, so 11-11. I could basically be walking around crying, feeling pretty shit, and it would be totally understandable astrology-wise. But I'm being pushed to change and transform with where I know I need to. And on the twin flame journey, as a divine feminine, as the leader on the journey, the rock leader, you have to do it, because if you don't change, well, if you don't change, you're going to be unhappy, but if you don't change, your twin flame will definitely not change as well. So, right, with the limited time that we've got left, look at all this. Is an interesting one. Maybe I am publishing another one, 1144, because maybe this is just a wee extra, I just don't know. Right, okay, so what have we got for the divine feminine in the physical? Past, yeah, look, and that's basically what I'm saying, is like, I'm not letting the past hold me back anymore, where I've held myself back my whole life. This situation has been triggered by one of your past lives. Heal the past and you bring healing in the present moment. But it can also be, so it can be in this life, but it can be past lives where you and your twin have, I feel, yeah, just things have just not been resolved, basically, and you've pulled into this life. Deep but true. Right, where's the divine masculine at? Unity. This keeps coming up for divine masculine especially. You're spiritually connected to everyone through God. Use the sacred bond to heal your family, friends, and yourself. Yet that's the third eye awakening. The divine masculine energy is connected to this one today. Whoever connects with this are beginning to see what they didn't see before. The mutual energy, and then the time's going to run out, is be positive. And look what now I get why I just told that story. Your thoughts can shape your experience, so be sure to focus on the positive. I could have stayed in my bed feeling miserable, but I was like, I've done enough of that. So someone else has been doing that out there. Balance, work, rest and play. Open your heart. And then twin flames, but I've just picked that by accident. But there are no accidents around here. And trust. You can trust the people. Divine masculines are beginning to see that they can trust you. Uplift.